Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, viewers to Iron Sports. It's Thursday, the 8th of October, 2015. Welcome to another Iron Sports special. This evening, we will be discussing the just concluded Commonwealth Youth Games in Samoa. And my guest this evening, to my immediate left, Mr. Alan Morris, who is the chef de mission for the mission in Samoa. And we have with us Ms. Heflin White, who is the coach of the Dominica contingent in Samoa. And of course, further left, we have Mr. Josh Tuse. Josh Tuse took part in the shot put and discus within the just concluded Commonwealth Games in Samoa. So welcome, folks. Welcome to Iron Sports. It's nice having you in studio with us. We are going to take a break for a word from our sponsors, but before I do that, just to remind our viewers and our listeners that tonight's program is being brought to you through the kind compliments of the Dominica Olympic Committee. Iron Sports this evening. My name is Errol Thomas. We will be back after the break. Stay tuned.
The Dominica Olympic Committee has a vision to secure medals at an Olympic Games and to bring honor and recognition to the nation. And DOC is on a mission to promote Olympism and protect the independence of the Olympic movement, represent the International Olympic Committee, live the principles and values of the Olympic movement, develop and protect athletes, promote women in sport, anti-doping, fair play, sport for all, the environment and culture, non-discrimination and education. Our logo, national colors, red, black, and green. Red, 10%, black, 30%, forest green, 60%. Support the Dominica Olympic Committee and engender national pride.
The website of the Dominica Olympic Committee, www.doc.dn.
Thanks for staying with us, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Eye on Sports. My guest is in studio, and like I said, to my immediate left, we have the chef de mission to the mission in Samoa, Mr. Alan Morris. I want to begin, sir, by asking you, if you may, give our viewers a synopsis, if it were, as to where we can find Samoa on the map, first of all.
Samoa is located in the central South Pacific, and it is just above Australia and New Zealand within the central section of the South Pacific. There are a group of islands referred to as the archipelago of Samoa. They are divided into two sections, that's the independent Samoa and the American Samoa. There are about 3,000 square kilometers in area, all the islands together, and they have approximately 250,000 people there. To get there, you would have to travel through the Americas, Miami, California, that kind of route to New Zealand and then on to Samoa. It is a long journey, approximately about 13 and 8, that's about 21 hours of flying. The journey can be boredom. You have to get up and walk in the planes and exercise so you don't get tired, jet lag doesn't affect you and make you sleepy. But you can get there. It's a bit costly though.
Okay. Okay, at least we have a broader synopsis as to where we can find Samoa and how far you guys have to travel to compete in the just concluded Commonwealth Youth Games. I want to ask Heflin White, who was the coach of the Dominica contingent at those games. How difficult it was for you, first of all, working with the young people, getting them prepared for a tournament like that, and how challenging was it to manage the squad or to coach the squad in Samoa?
Okay, coaching the athletes wasn't so much of a difficult challenge, but what we had to cope with was the climate, because at nights it gets very cold, and this is not something that they are used to. But in the morning, when we get to the field, I spoke with them, encourage them, motivate them, get them to do their warm-ups properly.
But before you left here, take us back a bit before you left here. What was preparation like on the ground here in Dominica before you moved to the games?
Okay. For example, Shani Angol, because of distance, she had her training session done in Grand Bay.
Okay.
And with Josh, he had to come sometimes at the stadium or in Portsmouth. And the challenge was the arena in which we train is not the same as what they compete in. So it was a bit of a challenge both for the coach and the athlete. But what I did was to describe what it is like, and they already had the experience going to Carifta Games. So what they did was go there and put their best, and to achieve what they could for themselves and for the country.
Okay. Well, at the games, you said it was challenging. How challenging was it, and how difficult were some of the conditions? You mentioned the cold weather and so, but apart from that, were the facilities that different from what we have here in Dominica?
It is very much different, yes. Very much different, because here, excuse me, we use the grass, but over there, they have everything prepared for you that is way different from what we have here. So the arena in which they compete, for example, the circle, what they had to do the javelin, shot put, and discus. It's not the same as we have here, and it was kind of slippery for them. And that posed a lot of challenges, especially for Josh, because they are not used to that. Okay. So what we would need is, we'd really need a track here in Dominica to prepare our athletes better.
Okay. Let me bring in Josh on the discussion here. Describe for us what it was like for you. I know you competed in shot put and discus. We just heard from Ms. White that the facilities were sort of different. But tell us some of the challenges that you had to undergo.
Well, in Samoa, it was a very good competition for me, very informative competition. It was my first international competition. But the challenges for me was, like Ms. White said, was the circle. The discus circle was very, very slippery. I couldn't keep my balance, and my whole technique was off. So that was the main challenge for me.
And you think that hampered your performance, your general performance?
I don't want to blame it on the circle, but yes, it did. Yes, sir.
How much you think?
A lot, because the main part of my event is technique, and I couldn't have my technique in order because of how the surface was. So.
Okay. Tell us what you think you have gained from that experience.
From that experience, I have gained, what do you call it? Knowledge. Because I was among the youngest athletes there, 16. I'm 16 years old, and these other guys were 17, and in just 1 year difference, they were at such a different level than me. So I got knowledge that I must put more work into my training. Yeah, that's what I got.
And well, put more work into your training against the background that you don't have the up-to-date or up-to-standard facilities
Yes.
that they are in Samoa.
Yes.
How much more would you have to put into that training? I mean, to get up to par, you know, to perform at the highest level when you go out to those games.
Well, for one, we need a circle, because we don't have much circles in Dominica to practice on. And another one would be a gym, a perfect gym with the right tools and equipment.
Training.
Yeah, for training, because there are special equipment you need to train with.
Okay. Mr. Morris, as head of the mission in Samoa, how challenging it was for your team, and what are some of the things that you had to endure? I know in most cases the chef de mission would arrive on the scene before you know, the other contingent, and so how did that work, and how was preparations?
In my situation as chef de mission, as you said earlier on, that the chef de mission would normally be ahead of the contingent.
Yeah.
In this case, we travel together.
Okay.
And one of the major challenges we had was as a result of the storm that affected us. And we left here under undue stress,
Okay.
and we had to go through St. Lucia, through Martinique on the ferry, and then we had to overnight in St. Lucia so that we'd catch the next flight out to Miami. But anyway, we got there. We got to Samoa. We were late, and we arrived after the opening of the meet, and because you had the parade, we could not participate in that. We arrived in Samoa approximately 11 o'clock in the night. By the time we cleared immigration, it was after 12. So we could not participate, and we could not have a fair idea of the environment at the time.
Okay.
So my job was cut for me. I now had to hustle to get to know my way about and what are the different issues that we had to deal with in terms of transportation, in terms of who were our layers officers, who would assist us, where would stay, what hotel.
Okay,
or
I'm going to ask you to hold your thoughts. We're going to take a break for a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back after the break.
The Dominica Olympic Committee has a vision to secure medals at an Olympic Games and to bring honor and recognition to the nation. And DOC is on a mission to promote Olympism and protect the independence of the Olympic movement, represent the International Olympic Committee, live the principles and values of the Olympic movement, develop and protect athletes, promote women in sport, anti-doping, fair play, sport for all, the environment and culture, non-discrimination and education. Our logo, national colors, red, black and green. Red 10%, black 30%, forest green 60%. Support the Dominica Olympic Committee and engender national pride.
The website of the Dominica Olympic Committee, www.doc.dm.
Okay. Welcome back to the program. Thanks for staying with us, viewers. Mr. Morris, before we went to the break, you were talking about your arrival in Samoa and how challenging was it for the team, seeing that all of you arrived almost, well, at the same time. You missed the opening ceremony and you had to juggle your way around. Tell us a little about it.
well, we met with the Miss Moya, who was our layers officer for the meet, and she welcomed us and prepared us to where we're going to stay. My concern was the sleeping accommodation and meals, because we know we have young people, and these people are very particular about what type of things, meals that they eat. You know, a lot of them like the fast foods. And as athletes, we try to educate them on the meal that they should eat that would help them, because diet is important to develop the young athlete. And sleep, they have to be comfortable. So I had to make sure that that information was given to me so that I could pass it on to the athletes. One thing though I must say, that when we arrived, we did not get our luggages. All right.
Your luggages were kept back.
We kept back all the way in between Los Angeles and Australia. So we spent approximately 3 to 4 days without our luggage, with a set of outfit that we had to make do. But luckily for us, the DOC is very welcoming, and it did prepare us that when we went there, we had contingency funds. So we used some of the funds to purchase the necessary equipment that the athletes needed to perform. You know, so yes, it was challenging in terms of the lateness. And the next morning, what we had to do, I had a number of meetings to attend. I ended up missing one because of trying to make sure that the athletes were comfortable, of course, with the assistance of the coach, that the athletes were motivated and ready to go, ready to compete. Because we arrived on the Saturday evening, we had the Sunday to acclimatize ourselves. We took a ride to the playing field so that we could see what the condition that was available to us, you know. And after we had done that, as soon as I get back, I had to go to some meeting. So we went to the meeting, and they appraised us as to what the rules governing the competition was about. And I had to come back to the athletes and the coach to inform them as to what is expected of us as athletes. What are the restrictions, what we must do, and what we can't do. It was educational in that the athletes, in fact our group, that group of individuals, we were exposed to an environment of organization that is a bit lacking in the region. Not only in Dominica, but in the region. Things were on time. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the expression Dominican time or West Indian time.
There's nothing like that.
There's nothing like that. You're supposed to compete at 9 o'clock. You have to be ready by 8:30. You have to be at the site for the latest by 8:30, so that you can do the call, go to the call room, get yourself prepared, and they walk you from call room to your location of competition. You start walking about 15 minutes before.
Yes, and even the numbers for competitions were given before. It was given to us the day before the competition.
So you knew exactly.
You knew exactly what you had to do before.
Yeah.
So it was well organized, well prepared, and everything was on time.
Okay, tell us about the facilities there as opposed to those back home.
I find the facility itself is, if you want for a better expression, that it was a basic, if I want to say average facility compared to what we have. What we have cannot be compared, because you know monies and flat land is an issue in Dominica.
Okay.
There is a lot of expense you have to put into to get the surrounding suitable for putting down a good 400-meter track. That doesn't mean we cannot get it done. So, but when you look at the sitting accommodation compared to Windsor Park, it is very small. Very, you probably sit about how much? 5,000 compared to Windsor Park, you sit in excess of 10,000.
10,000 people.
Right.
That is the stadium.
That is the stadium.
Okay.
And it is not secured like Windsor Park.
Okay.
Right. In terms of huge walls, you know, it's a basic facility.
Okay.
With advanced track and field equipment.
Okay.
You know?
I want to ask you folks about Miss Shani Angon, one of the participants at the Commonwealth Youth Games. In fact, she competed in javelin,
Yes.
Tell us about her performance and how successful she was.
Okay. Shani competed in javelin. Her best throw was 45.45 meters. And she was just recovering from a back injury. I think she went there and she did her very best. She was well focused. She had a very good mindset, very positive about achieving success. And that meant a lot for her because she said, Miss, I'm going to do my best for my country, especially now as Erica has struck us. And I'm going to put my country on the map. And she went there and she did her best.
Okay. Yes?
To add to that, Shani, because of the stressful traveling, I think that may have taken its toll on her in terms of achieving her best. Her best performance, I think, is 49.6 meters. Yes. And the person who won the gold medal through 49.5 or 49.6, something like that. Now, Shani herself felt that she could have won the gold medal. Yeah. And she expressed to me that she felt that if her coach was there, he would motivate her in a different manner that would cause her to spur her to think. And you see, in competitions like that, you don't generally have personal coaches traveling from your club, traveling with the national team. What you have is a national coach who is very much experienced, but you see the personal relationship that exists. The national coach might not have that, might not have that sting of motivation to get the athlete to perform the way that they want them to perform. But all in all, she was able to do her best given the conditions that she was faced with. And she felt that she could try harder. But given the wind condition, that's one of the factors. It was a bit very windy, you know, and you're in a new environment. You're not familiar with that environment. So, and coming at that juncture, if you had about 2 or 3 days before, then I guess you would be more acclimatized to the condition and do a better job.
And by then she would have been able to study the direction of the wind so that she would have better
plan her through.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Tell us, what about team meetings? Did you all guys meet as a team before any of the events?
Every moment we got a chance, we spoke as a team. Okay. We communicate, we express individual differences. It was joyous. Sometimes there were sad moments. Of course, people missing home. And after, of course, leaving Dominica under stress as a result of the storm. It was challenging as a result of that to try to motivate the athletes to stay within the parameters that exist right now. Okay? And we accommodated each other. Right? We were like a little family. Right? And as a result of that, the athletes loved the moment, they enjoyed the moment. Of course, I must say Mr. Wilson was with us. He joined us at the meet, and he was as motivating as anybody else could be. And even I was advising Shani Angol during her event to perform certain exercises to help her to deliver her event effectively. Okay. He was motivating. He was there and encouraged the athletes. Okay. And we spoke as a team. We had several team meetings.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a break for a word from our sponsors. We will be right back.
The Dominica Olympic Committee has a vision to secure medals at an Olympic Games and to bring honor and recognition to the nation. And DOC is on a mission to promote Olympism and protect the independence of the Olympic movement, represent the International Olympic Committee, live the principles and values of the Olympic movement, develop and protect athletes, promote women in sport, anti-doping, fair play, sport for all, the environment and culture, non-discrimination, and education. Our logo, national colors, red, black, and green. Red 10%, black 30%, forest green 60%. Support the Dominica Olympic Committee and engender national pride.
The website of the Dominica Olympic Committee, www.doc.dm.
Welcome back to Ion Sports. This, of course, is Thursday, the 8th of October 2015. We are discussing the Commonwealth Youth Games, which just completed. They ran from the 2nd to the 15th of September 2015. I'm going to ask my guests to sort of, well, before that, let me ask you, Josh, in terms of comparison, how would you compare this Commonwealth Games to other competitions that you have entered? We have a few seconds.
Well, like I said, it's an international competition with top athletes from all the Commonwealth countries. Opposed to Caribbean Games, where it's just Caribbean countries, there was a lot more competition and a lot more athletes, and it was just.
So it was a lot more challenging.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to ask you folks to give us your final comments. Any encouragement for further athletes or other athletes wanting to take part in developing their skills to compete in further games?
Well, what I would say is commitment, determination, and just have a love for what you're doing. That's what I do, and it's working out for me. So you
want to at least encourage your fellow athletes to
encourage.
Okay. And coach, I know you worked at the Portsmouth Secondary School. You are coach of the athletics team down there.
And
okay.
Aspirers coach as well.
An aspiring coach as well.
Aspirers coach.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you want to give us your final words?
Yes. To the athletes out there, I would like to encourage training, because a lot of times we call training and the athletes do not show up. If you want to do your best, you must be committed to training. Must. It is a capital M-U-S-T, all caps. Must be committed to training. It takes a lot of self-discipline, because a lot of times you find the young people get involved with things that are not supposed to be inside of their bodies, the substances that they take. And their bodies are not fully grown. They are still developing. So I would like to encourage them to come to training. I would like to encourage them to do their best, will themselves to do their very best in spite of their odds, in spite of what people have to say. That, because you can talk to them from now to December, nobody else can do it for them except for themselves. So I would like to tell them, to give them to encourage them, or to continue to encourage them to come to training, because you can only do your best when you are self-disciplined and committed to training.
Okay. Mr. Morris?
On behalf of the DOC, I would like to encourage all sporting organizations to make sure that their coaches and managers are well versed with competition at all levels, and to inform the DOC as much as possible what their programs are like, because the DOC is bent on improving the sporting facilities and sporting personnel on the island. We are there for the development of sports. We expect all athletes and coaches to cooperate with the DOC, because the mandate of the DOC is for the development of sports.
Okay, folks, that's where we bring a wrap on Ion Sports for this evening. My name is Harold Thomas. Join me again next week.